The fictional worlds of Westeros and Middle-earth have been keeping viewers at the edge of their seats this year, but along with the exponential plot twists, gasps, and occasional highs, there have also been explosive lows in both shows. Let's look into some of the best and worst things they've shown in their first seasons. Starting with the obvious differences. The biggest reaction to HOTD is probably that it's full of dragons, whereas Rings of Power seems to run low on its rings. While the Throne spin-off series tries to be bigger, nastier, and more serious than its predecessor, Rings of Power, ends up taking a lot of inspiration from Peter Jackson's trilogies such as flourishes, Nazgûl-like glowskulls, and even showing a Balrog coming up a millennium before it's supposed to. The Lord of the Rings prequel show is already done with its first season, whereas we're still waiting for the Dragons finale, which comes out this Sunday. Both shows have managed to be huge, yet still be vastly different. Where Rings of Power tries its best to be wholesome yet exciting, HOTD is purely a feel-bad show about a broken family doing many messed up things just to get the throne. But is that all that modern-day fantasy has left to offer us? Both shows could learn a lot from Jenny Tartakovsky's Primal, which just finished its second season. Moving on, their biggest flaws. While an ultra-violent show may not be for everyone, even Ring shows amputated limbs despite claiming to be family-friendly. On the other hand, we're a little tired of both shows' obsessions with committees and councils. While there are always ways to make an endless bureaucracy interesting to watch, both shows tried their best to use it to delay the actual narrative. This move helps build up hype, but audiences don't seem to like it at all. Some of their other delayed narrative tactics include Galadriel sailing into the ocean just to change her mind and swim all the way back, or Otto Hightower getting fired only to come back as the king's hand. Even when Disa lied to Elrond about Durin's whereabouts and then ended up meeting with him for a secret conversation in the most public place ever, Elrond could see the two from miles away. And does anyone even remember the crab feeder who caused such a fuss for the first few episodes of House of the Dragon? Certainly not us. On the other hand, Primal had a riverboat battle, a skyborne duel, and the emotional birth of a dino, all in a single episode without any of the added fuss. Though HBO's prequel series did admittedly improve a lot over the year, their mid-season jump completely transformed the show from dragged melodrama into a generational soap opera and content that's hard for almost anyone to watch with both eyes open. Additionally, some things are worse than evil. The House of the Dragon adaptation may turn both Alicent's and Rhaenyra into something worse than evil, and that's just plain boring. The series continues to underplay their important positions and their power play hostility towards one another. Though the dance with the dragons was pulled off nearly to perfection, as Jacaerys took Helena's hand for some royal dancing, the show is still a threat to itself with its incredibly explosive instincts. Moreover, the latest episode should have just ended with Aegon being crowned king. Instead, they decided to put in a double climax when Rhaenys shows up with her fire beast Meleys. Furthermore, is House of the Dragon a potential disaster? As Rhaenys points her hand towards the new monarch and his entire branch of Targaryens, she gives everyone a very hard stare and simply flies away. It's an amazing moment with no actual event taking place, though this isn't the first time the spin-off has shown confidence in typical Game of Thrones fashion, proving that not every scene needs a dragon. While all of us agree the Targaryen horror comedy concept of intermarriage is being underplayed, all of us are still thinking the same thing, that this family is more than just messed up. Moreover, the show had some twists that didn't pan out how they'd like them to, but there's still a possibility that one of these twists could end up destroying everyone in the show. Let's not forget how the relationship between the show's queens seems almost poetic as compared to the generic eternal war against evil narrative Lord of the Rings is following. Similarly, Galadriel messed up badly. At first, Galadriel sees Halbrand's crest on a random scroll and declares himself as the king of the Southlands, while at the season's end, as she's going through a more recent scroll, she realizes how bad she messed up and just goes on with her day, despite the man they've known looking for the entire time being right in front of her. Moreover, Adar starts as a classic J.J. Abrams bad guy, a villain doing villain things for no reason in particular. Turns out the character is just a fallen elf trying to find a home for his fellow orcs. As we find out more about his motives, Galadriel tells him that she's going to kill every last one of them no matter what. Clark manages to give that line incredible energy, with even fans excited that the show was finally kicking off. But does the whole genocidal madwoman act work for the character, especially since she's the one who enables Sauron? Finally, what could they have done better? Both of these shows had their take on sociological spin cycles. Where House of the Dragon suffered a lot from criticism about an emphasis on female trauma, Rings got a lot of racist complaints about their casting choices. With that said, both of them could have done more with these characters, but decided to either kill them off or sideline them. Along with that, both narratives solely focus on people in power being able to save their realms from doom, rendering everyone else as basically just sheep. Their ratings do indicate the industry's strong inclination towards spin-offs over the original shows. Despite a show like Primal having only 20 episodes, it manages to fill them full of mystical imagination, visual exploration, and spine-chilling thrills. On the other hand, both of these shows may be ending in the same way, a promise for a war to come, not delving too deep into the fantasy aspect. Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 2, everything we know so far. Coming up is a second season on its way. With Mount Doom's fires burning with all their might, they're not gonna wait for any man or elf. Amazon intends to make its Lord of the Rings IP last for as long as possible, especially since there are still a lot of Tolkien's notes to explore. With that being said, the show has already been renewed for 4 more seasons. Its co-showrunner, J.D. Payne, mentioned it even before the entirety of Season 1 was out. In an interview with Empire back in June, Payne went on to tell us a lot of the things from the first season aren't going to make sense until Season 5, further saying that as of yet they aren't even sure what the last episode is going to be like. Jennifer Salke, head of Amazon Studios, in an interview with Variety, further confirmed a second season on the way and 3 more after that. The team is building an entire small city for the show and intends to make good use of their budget. Let's look at the cast. While most of the main cast is expected to come back, including Robert Amoreyo, Morfydd Clark, Ismael Cruz Cordova, Daniel Wayman, Nazanin Benaidi, Owain Arthur, and many more. Prime Video has also come out to tell us that there's a major addition to the cast, Círdan, who not only has a huge role to play in the Second Age, but also in the Third and Fourth. We don't know who plays the character yet, but an announcement is soon expected as we get closer to Season 2. Finally, what will Season 2 be about? We don't know much about the plot for its upcoming season as of yet, though Galadriel will probably still be trying to recover from trusting Halbrand, and maybe even has feelings for him. As Payne went on to tell Esquire in an interview in October 2022, he says that despite knowing that Sauron was part of the ring's creation, Galadriel still goes on with making them. However, the character does have to bear a heavy burden now, as she saved the Dark Lord's life twice and empowered him. The character's optimism and trust led her to help him, and we're going to be seeing a lot of her wrestle with that guilt and act accountable for it. In Season 2, we're bound to see how those decisions impact Middle-earth and her relationships with everyone. Could this lead to tension between her and Elrond, who is one of 2 people aware of Halbrand's true identity, as he leans toward the end of Episode 8 from a scroll? With Halbrand stepping towards Mount Doom in the final moment of Season 1, the next season is going to have much higher stakes, which can only mean that the real battle is about to begin. That's a wrap for this video. Which do you prefer, House of the Dragon or Rings of Power? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.